Greetings and salutations all. I'm back with another tutorial video, this time demonstrating how we can reduce the size of PDFs in a folder on a Windows system. We will use GhostScript utility, which has an open source license, in conjunction with PowerShell. I will leave a link in the description of where you can download this utility. Alright, follow along and let's begin. So, our mission at hand is to take all the PDFs within this folder and reduce the size of them. We have 60 files in total, and we can see the size in this column here on the right. And the total size of all these documents are a little over 20 megabytes. So I would call a 50% reduction in size a success. So let's see if we can get these files down to 10 megabytes in size without much loss in quality of the actual documents. So if we open up this PDF, which is 1 megabyte in size, we can see it's a single page with not too many graphics. Okay, let's close this. I want to keep my original files to compare to, so let's put all the newly compressed files in this compressed folder here. Launch PowerShell here, and the first thing I like to do is set my variables. So with these lines, I set up my directory structure. We have our pickup variable, which is our drop folder where the PDFs reside, and our completed directory, which is where our compressed PDFs will go. Note I have incorrectly referenced pickup here. The path variable should be pickup and not path. Okay, so now once you have installed GhostScript, we need to reference the gswin64c.exe file, which, if you left in the default location, would be in the same spot specified here. C program files gs version bin directory, and we assign that to our variable called ghost. So now let's target all of our PDFs in our pickup directory. We do that with this line of code. Essentially, this will look at our pickup folder and find all files that end with a .pdf, then place those files in the PDF variables. If we run this, let's see what's in our PDFs variable. A list of all the PDFs in the directory. Okay, great. Okay, so now let's loop over this list and begin processing each document one by one. We do that with this for loop. We will run a for each loop on each PDF in our PDFs variable. Now, normally to run this command from command line, we reference our GhostScript executable followed by some parameters and then the original file we want reduced. But since we're running this in PowerShell, we have to run this command in a different kind of way. First thing, let's get our parameters. In our parm variable, we will paste in the parameters. Make sure you have a leading and trailing space between your quotes. I'll put this line of code in the description as it's fairly long. Now, I have played around with the parameters and this gives me the best result without too much loss in quality. But if quality is not high on your goals, You just want to make it as small as possible. Then take out all resolution and color references from the parameters. So basically like from here back. Okay. Now the last thing in our parameters is what we want the newly compressed file to be called. Right now it's referenced as new. So let's define new. We define new being in our completed folder location, which is the compressed folder. But let's also add the word compressed dash at the start of the name. Then we just add the PDF name. So our new file name will be in our completed directory, and the file will start with the word compressed and a dash preceding the original file name. Okay, great. Now PowerShell wants these parameters on separate lines for whatever reason. So let's split our parm variable on spaces and assign to PRMS. So basically we take each of our parameters defined and break it on the spaces so that each one is on its own separate line. Okay, so to put all this together, we first call the ampersand, which tells PowerShell this is an executable. We reference our GhostScript file, but we have to put it within quotes. Then we call our parameters variable, which is our variable split on different lines. Then we specify our file name, which we specify by calling the variable within quotes again to get the literal string. So to see what each of these looks like, let's run them. Ghost references our executable. Our parameters are split out to different lines. And PDF represents the current file. Okay, so if we were to run this section of the script on just our single file referenced, which is this file, we should get our reduced file in our compressed directory. Right now it's 122 kilobytes. Let's run and test. It completed, and our compressed file, which is named correctly, is now 74 kilobytes. Let's check the quality for comparison. And there's not much difference in terms of quality. So 74, and this one is 122. So better, not quite 50%, but close. Okay, so let's test this on all our files to see what kind of difference we have in terms of size. Our 60 files here, which is roughly 20 megabytes in size. So let's run this. Our compressed files are being created. Okay, it completed. And if we see our total size on disk, which is 9.1 megabytes, and originally it was 20.3 megabytes. Okay, so over 50% reduction. So let's pick on one and compare the quality. Okay, now not much of a difference with wording, but the graphics quality has been reduced and noticeable. But the text is good, and we should still have our metadata associated with the file, which we do. So we achieved our 50% reductions in our PDF file size. So I have demonstrated how to use GhostScript in conjunction with PowerShell to reduce the size of PDF documents on a Windows system. Moving forward, I'm going to make the code available to my subscribers, so please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. This has been brought to you by AIP Solutions.